Welcome to Weekend Crafting Adventures with Kim Wojtalowicz. Get ready to learn all about her latest craft project as she reveals experiences with the Cricut cutting machine. Follow along as she discusses her project's successes and fails, shares her inspiration, tips and tricks, and overall satis Craftion rating for each project. Now, here's your host, Kim.
Hi, crafties. Welcome to Weekend Crafting Adventures. I'm going on a girls' trip. I'm so excited. This May, I'm going to be heading out across country to meet up with my high school girlfriends. And it's been quite a long time since we've all actually gotten together. And I think the last time we were all together with me there was in, I think it was our 20th year high school reunion. So it's been a while because now we're actually past our 30th reunion, except for Alexis. She's 1 year younger. So she's maybe just getting to that 30th reunion time. But anyway, I was thinking about what I wanted to bring my girlfriends. I love sewing. I love giving unique, one-of-a-kind gifts. And so I started thinking about what I wanted to make them for a little girl's getaway gift. And I actually came across this video tutorial that I had saved on my Pinterest board about I think it was over a year ago. And I thought, oh, that's it. It's the perfect girls' getaway gift because it's not only going to combine my love of sewing and making things, but also I'm going to do something on my Cricut machine. That's part of the project. I'm going to actually be cutting some fabric. So I'm going to be making personalized zipper pouches. And I am so excited to do this project. It was so much fun. And they came out beautifully. They actually exceeded my expectations. I made 8 different zipper pouches. And so this episode, I am going to share with you my experience using my Cricut machine to cut out the fabric to make initials to personalize zipper pouches for my high school girlfriends and for the girls' getaway. So let's get into the project. This is a complicated one. So like I said, I love sewing and I am an experienced sewer. I make lots of things. So I wanted to actually sew the zipper pouches myself. That being said, if you don't sew, if you don't want to sew, this is still going to be a great project for you because there are so many places these days that you can get blank canvas zipper pouches. I've seen them at Hobby Lobby. I know they're on Amazon. So don't let the fact that I'm sewing the zipper pouches scare you away from this project because I will tell you the outcome is so personalized and unique and one of a kind. I mean, these just are so sweet and I really think my friends are going to absolutely love them. Okay, so the project. There was a lot to get done for this project, but again, being that it was for the girls' getaway, I was super excited to do all of it. So this is my accent fabric. And right now what I'm going to do is just prep again for the personalized zip pouches that I'm making. And I know that I want the initials on the zipper pouch that I'm going to applique on there and that Cricut's going to cut out this fabric. I want it to be no bigger than 4 inches by 4 inches for the actual initial. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out into 5 by 4 inch squares just to make sure that Cricut has enough excess that it works out the way that I'm hoping it does. So let's get this cut. I'm
I'm super excited about these fabrics that are the accent fabrics. I actually found them at one of my favorite places to buy fabric online. It's called Hawthorne Supply Company, and it's out of New York. And they have not only beautiful fabric, they have great sales, and they also have a flat rate shipping fee of about I think it's like $5.50 or $5.95 flat rate anywhere in the United States. So that is pretty awesome. Okay. I'm gonna cut a few extra just in case I make a mistake, which happens all the time. So just gonna go ahead and make sure I've got this ready to go. And then we'll get to the exciting part, which is actually getting these accent fabrics on the Cricut and cut out.
Zipper pouches are such a great gift. They can be used for so many things. I have them in my car, in my work bag, in my purse. I could never have too many zipper pouches, which is again why I feel like this is such a great gift. Personalize it, and you can never have too many. I was also thinking that these would be an excellent bridesmaid gift to personalize with your bridesmaid's initials. So just thinking about summer and wedding season, graduations coming up, teacher gifts, all of these different things that these personalized zipper pouches could be used for. So hopefully if it's something that interests you and you want to give it as a gift or even make it for yourself or someone in your family. Okay, let's get into the project. Lots of prep for this project, lots of materials for this project. I'm going to be going over some of the main materials in this episode, but everything I used, everything I did is going to be put in the episode notes. So you don't have to worry if you're listening in your car or you're taking a walk, then everything you need to make these zipper pouches will be located in the episode notes, and you'll be able to go back and find them and get all of the information you need. But first of all, let's start with the pattern and inspiration of this free video tutorial that I came across. I found it on Pinterest, and I'm just going to look real quick. Yes. It was from www.somuchmore.com. That is where this video tutorial is located. And on this video tutorial, and when you go to this link, she actually has all of the materials that she used along with a video of how to do it. I think the video is about 13 minutes long, but it's really well done. You can follow it if you're a beginning sewer. I think the trickiest part is going to be putting the zipper in, but like I said, one step at a time, and just watch the video tutorial, and she gives a really good description. So that is where I found the idea for actually cutting out the initials for my friends on the Cricut machine.
Wow. It actually looks like it came out okay.
That was an experience. There were some highs and some lows to cutting the fabric. While we're talking about fabric, I got to gather some awesome accent fabric that I used on the pouches for the initials. I used it for the lining, and I used it for about a 3-inch border on one side of the zipper pouch. So I love looking for fabric, and I have shopped online at this adorable little fabric store called Hawthorne Supply Company. They're out of New York. I talk about them a little bit when I'm making some videos and cutting out my fabric for this project, but I will tell you, they have great sales. and they have a flat rate in the United States shipping fee of $5.95. Doesn't matter how much fabric you buy. I have used them for a ton of projects and I love their customer service. I love the fabric that they have. They have unique, one of a kind fabric that you can only find at their store. So check them out. It's definitely worth it. Again, I will link their information into the notes at the end of the episode. So I gathered all this great fabric. I ordered it online. While I was waiting for it to arrive, I was making sure that I had everything I needed from my Cricut machine. So I needed a fabric cutting mat, which I had. It came with my Cricut Maker bundle when I got it. I also have some other mats that I ended up using during this project, and I'll get to that a little bit later. I got some canvas. I went back and forth between a black canvas and a neutral color canvas, and I ended up going with the neutral. I feel like spring is here, summer's on the way. I was getting mostly floral accent fabrics, and so I just felt for me what I liked and what just made me happy was doing a natural canvas with the pop of color on top. And that was going to be the initial and the side and the lining of the zipper pouch. So I have my 5x5 inch square of cotton fabric that I'm about to have my Cricut machine cut out. I have my fabric mat and a brayer that I'm going to use to attach the fabric to the mat. I'm going to place it in the corner just where that layout from Cricut Design Space showed me. I'm going to make sure I get it right in the right spot, and I'm going to use the brayer, really pushing down to attach that fabric to the mat. I'm still seeing it bubble up a bit. So I'm just going to keep pushing and rolling it out. Not 100% confident that this is going to go without getting wrinkled from what I'm seeing, but I'm just going to load it into the machine. Make sure you all can see. So a couple of other things I wanted to highlight for you was that in the tutorial, if you do go look at the tutorial, I adjusted my dimensions for the zipper pouch a little bit. I just wanted mine to be a little bit bigger than what she was making. And I also chose to use a different material to attach the initial to the zipper pouch. I think in the tutorial, she talks about something called Misty Fuse. I am not familiar with that product. And so when I was picking up my canvas that I was going to use at my local hobby store, I decided that I wanted to just go ahead and try something called heat bond. I'd read about it online. So I was walking over to the cutting table. And of course, at Hobby Lobby, whenever you're getting your canvas material, whatever fabric cut, they always want to know, what are you making? What are you making? So of course I light up. I'm super excited. I'm making these zipper pouches for my high school girlfriends. I haven't seen them in forever. And I can't wait to applicate the initials onto the zipper pouch. And she went, oh no, then you can't use heat bond. And I was like, oh, okay. She said, how about, have you ever tried Wonder Under? I was like, I have never tried Wonder Under. And so she recommended, one, because it is sewing machine friendly, and she was sure of that. And two, that it was on sale because it was the week at Hobby Lobby where all of the fabric cut by the yard is 30% off. So, okay, how can you beat that? I'm going to go for it. So I decided to use the Wonder Under. So that is a difference from what you're going to see on that video tutorial.
Okay, I'm going to do some more prep. Takes a while, but it actually makes a big difference when you're making multiple items, especially when you're making the same thing. I'm doing about 8 zipper pouches, maybe more than that, just because of trial and error with the initials and the accents. So I'm gonna go ahead and just iron all of my pieces. I'm thinking this will also help when I am putting the fabric on the mats for Cricut to cut the letters, the initials out that I'm doing. I'm noticing a couple of them are a little stubborn, so I'm actually going to use my best press. It's awesome. I'm not sure where I heard about it. I'm sure it was somewhere on YouTube or sometime I was watching, and this stuff is great for pressing out fabric. I love it.
Let me talk a little bit about the experience. So cutting the material on the Cricut, definitely, I loved it. The thing that made it so fun for me was that I got to go into my Cricut design space. And if you have Cricut design space, you'll know what I mean. There are tons of fonts, a font for everything, and honestly. And I was searching through these fonts to find the perfect font for each of my friends. So not only was I super picky about the fabric that I was using for the accent and the initial, but I was super picky about my fonts. I knew that I was going to put a zigzag stitch on top of each of the initials. So one thing I was looking for when I was searching out the fonts was that it wasn't too skinny. I really didn't want the zigzag to be bigger than the actual pieces of the initial, if that makes sense. So I wanted chunky fonts and I wanted individualized fonts for each of my friends' personalities. So as I'm going through the fonts, I'm looking at all these different ones for, that one would be great for Adrian. And then the next one, oh my gosh, this one would be great for Caroline. So I got to pick each of those fonts out, and then Cricut is going to actually cut that font out of the fabric. So it's super cool. This is the first time I'd ever cut out initials or fabric on my Cricut. And I did have some fails. One of the things I learned is that depending what kind of fabric I was using, I had to switch up the mat. So for most of the fabrics, they went down onto Cricut's fabric mat beautifully. But there was one or two of the fabrics that I had that actually I could not get it to stick down on that mat. I ended up using a mat from a different company that I got on Amazon, and it was a strong grit mat. And I had to actually use the strong grit mat and a little bit of tape in each of the corners as I was having my Cricut cut it out, because I did two of them and they got all wound up in my Cricut, and that is not good. So I don't know. It's a learning experience for me. I definitely could have done something wrong while I was trying to attach it to the mat. It could have been the kind of fabric I was using. I'm not sure, but don't get discouraged if you're making a zipper pouch and you're using your Cricut and you're fabric goes in and all of a sudden it's bunched up and it doesn't come out well, keep on with it. Take some regular old Scotch tape, put it right around the edges where you know if the initial is going to be cut out in the middle, that you can put tape on the edges of the fabric and it's not going to mess with your Cricut machine or the rollers. Probably somebody might tell me that's an awful idea. And I don't know, it worked for me as I'm learning, okay, how am I going to cut this fabric out? So that was an interesting experience during the project. So let me get into my crafting keepers from this adventure. Wonder Under, definitely a crafting keeper. This is such a cool material, and I can see myself using it in lots of different projects for applique, just kind of adding those personal touches to things. So yes, Wonder Under, Pellon product, that is a crafting keeper. Another one by far is cutting out the initials to personalize something on my Cricut machine. I have not mastered this skill yet. I am still learning about the fabrics and how to make sure they are adhered to the mat the right way so that you get the best cut from the Cricut machine. But the ability to pick the font that reminds me of a person and have that cut out of the fabric and then actually see it on the finished product that's going to be given to my friend. I mean, that is a keeper for sure. So I'll definitely be using the Cricut to cut out more initials in the future. Let's see, the Scotch tape. I know it may not be a great tip, but I didn't know what else to do at that moment, and it actually worked fine for me. There's probably a better way in the future for me to learn to make sure that my fabric isn't going to get bundled up or rolled up in my Cricut Maker, but on the spot, using that tape, I could continue doing my project, didn't have a lot of frustration, and I got those initials cut out. So I'm going to keep that little tip of using the Scotch tape when I'm doing fabric on my Cricut. And the final keeper, definitely the best press. That made ironing out my canvas and all of my accent fabric go quickly and beautifully. I mean, it was done fast, and I will definitely continue to use that and keep that in my crafting corner. In terms of my Craftion rating for this project, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. And I'm doing that because this was such a fun project for me with a lot of meaning behind it, which automatically pushes it up to at least a 3. And then I do love sewing, so it met my need of sewing and creating. I love that it's such an individualized project, that it is a one-of-a-kind gift. Those are my favorite things to give people that you can't buy anywhere. You know, it's made from the heart, it's individualized, and it's personal for them. So there were a few bumps in the road that kept it from being a 5, which was my learning curve on the Wonder Under and on cutting the initials with the Cricut machine. But it definitely, all of the good and the fun and picking out the fabric and putting together the zip pouches and adding the final detail of the suede zipper pull, that all was awesome. So I'm giving it a 4.5. And I will definitely report back on what the ladies think when they get them. I will be doing another episode where I make a gift tag for each of the zipper pouches with a little cute girls weekend saying, and I will be packing the pouches with some fun. So I will definitely be sharing with you in the future how I'm making those tags on my Cricut machine and what I'm putting in the pouch. And that's about it for me. I hope that you have a wonderful week and that you maybe get inspired to try to use your Cricut to cut out some initials and try the personalized zip pouch. Bye.
That's all for this episode of Weekend Crafting Adventures. Now go get that Cricut machine off the shelf and get crafty. For more information on this crafting project, interesting tips, tricks, and techniques, visit WCApodcast.com. Until next time, when we embark on another adventure.